Let's move on to some boxing, dude. I mean, do we want to even call it that?
Yeah, right.
Like, I mean,
yeah.
We got a 58-year-old Mike Tyson in the ring versus Jake Paul. I mean, like, this is just, I mean, this whole event, number one, Netflix put on a horrible event. I mean, the stream was buffering the whole time, like in and out. Like it was like, pardon the interruption. Like every 10 minutes, it's like I got to reload my Netflix. I was upset, and then the fight was just the main event, not the co-main event, which we'll get into in a little bit. The main event was just not good. I mean, Mike Tyson only landed 18 punches.
Right.
18? And, like, what are we talking about? And then Jake Paul is fighting all these old guys, like, and he wants to be world champion. I mean, what is he doing? Like, I really don't know what his plan is. Like, he's beating up on these old guys.
They're making money. They honestly,
that's all they're doing.
They're hoodwinking people, to be honest. Like,
it's a gimmick fight.
It's the craziest, like, marketing thing I've ever seen in my life. They made so much money. I'm not joking. Like,
they make a ton. Jake made $40 million and Tyson made $20 million off this fight.
It's bizarre. It's crazy, but it's working for him somehow. So why not? Why not make get hit 18 times and make 40 million? Like, and Netflix was just a great avenue to do it because so many people have it.
Right.
I mean,
there's like 65 million plus watched it.
If they can't run a Love is Blind reunion live, I don't know what made them think they could run like a massive sporting event live. But like a year and a half ago, they tried doing a Love is Blind reunion live, and that's a fraction of what the people watch, and it was crashing.
Right.
So I don't know who thought this was a good idea, but they made their money. Kudos to
I don't know who thought it was a good idea, because we had Tyson. This fight was supposed to happen back in July. He had an ulcer flare up on the airplane. There were a lot of health concerns.
I mean, it turns out it was a good idea, though, because they made the money. Like, they tricked a bunch of people. They made their money, and at the end of the day, that's all they want.
Do you think the fight was real, though? I think that's the real question. As a fighter, I know people. I hate saying like fights are scripted and things like that, but is there anything that like is like alarming to you that's going like, it's scripted?
I want to say it's scripted, but I mean, we heard Jake talk about in the press conference, like I started to take it easy on him because I felt kind of bad.
Which is nuts, by the way. I mean, you're taking it easy on an absolute legend, like one of the goats of boxing. Like, I mean, that's so.
But also, he's an older guy, but. You do see that. I mean, you see it in MMA sometimes if a fighter is dominating the fight, especially a 5-round fight. Let's take, for example, like a Mighty Mouse, and that's just utter domination. Round 5, they kind of coast. Round 4, they kind of coast, and it's like, you got to beat me now at this point. I don't think it's fixed, but I think it was just I'm not gonna try to knock you out and
like Mike Tyson looked he looked vicious in training.
Yeah,
like he was hitting the pads. He looked fast. He was bobbing and weaving, he looked like he had a little bit left in him. I mean, he's pushing 60, so like that's the conversation too. But like he didn't look like how he did in training than in the fight. He looked like a completely different guy, even when he was walking out.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like he was lost already.
I mean it's just such a big speed discrepancy. Again, kind of going back to how when we talked about John Jones, you get confused in there when it's like, oh my gosh, this is a lot faster than I expected. Like, you can look great on the pads all you want.
Right.
The pads aren't hitting you back. And, you know, when it's that big jab, that's a lot faster than yours. You can tell there's just a huge discrepancy in speed there. You can't get anything off when you're getting jabbed in the face. And yeah, it's a jab, but it's fast and you're not expecting it. Right. You can't set anything up. So, you know, it's a lot different when you're in the ring and you're getting hit, you know. And
I think the real question everyone wants to know here is Jake Paul really a boxer? Is he really a boxer? I mean, you look at this guy, his professional record.
Yeah. I
mean, he's only fought one active pro boxer.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson is a pro boxer, but this is a second pro boxer.
Yeah.
It's also the second guy he's fought at 50.
Yeah.
He hasn't beaten a real professional boxer his age.
Right.
I mean, how legit is this career besides the prize fights and all the money fights?
I mean, he's fought Tommy Fury, who, again, he lost to, but he hung with him, and Tommy Fury's had a pretty good pro career. I'm not a huge pro boxing
he
fan.
barely beat KSI though.
Yeah.
I know. And it was a split decision too.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that alarms me about it.
Now,
it's like,
not to play devil's advocate, but a lot of people would argue, including him, is these pro boxers, these Floyd Mayweathers, their first 6 fights are nobodies too. They're fighting a lot of these people that aren't anything, and they're just not making millions and millions of dollars, and it's not on a huge platform to watch. But if you're not going to take tougher fights, which we'll see what he does, he's calling out Conor McGregor.
Which is not a tough fight. I mean, the guy's smaller than him. Jake's a big dude, man. I mean, he was 227 in there.
He is calling him out in MMA, though, which is interesting.
He's done that with everybody. And he's had a contract with the PFL for, like, what, 2 years now, and he hasn't even fought yet?
Yeah.
I mean, is he ever going to fight
now,
MMA?
Conor, if they, like you said, he is a bit smaller. I wouldn't say much smaller because Conor's kind of thick right now.
But like, if you look at it, he's not going to come back at like 200 pounds. Like Conor McGregor, no way he makes 200 pounds.
Yeah. Well, I think Jake's going to have to lose a little bit of weight. He was definitely bulking up for that fight.
Right.
And I think that was a big advantage for the Mike Perry fight as well, is because he was getting so big for Mike Tyson that he had such a size advantage.
And the camp was weird in between because he was supposed to fight Perry. He was a lot smaller than Tyson.
Yeah.
That kind of messed him up a little bit.
Right. So I think if Jake's serious about fighting, he's going to have to get lighter, because if he fights someone of that size, that's a legit pro boxer. Not saying Mike Tyson's not legit. Please don't take it like that. But you know what I mean? Like in their prime,
like
boxer.
his age, like he's ready to go in the ring, dig it out. He's also healthy. He's not having any health scares before it.
Yeah, he would have a lot more problems for sure.
So who do you think should fight next? Because he's calling out Canelo. He's calling out Conor.
Should give him Canelo, please, God.
Please.
Just do it, please. I just want to
Canelo would
rip the bandage off, and then we hopefully never have to hear from him again. I mean, it's kind of like that's what I want. It would be kind of annoying that he gets the opportunity to fight Canelo, and there's been people that have been going up the ranks for so long. But please just shut this dude up.
Did you see what he said? He said, let's do a world title fight at 200-pound cruiserweight, me and Canelo. Canelo's not even a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
So how is that possible? That didn't make sense.
Right.
Like what you just said makes no sense. Fight somebody in your weight class. Why are you trying to get all these smaller dudes to bulk up to fight you? Like you're basically feeding them to the sharks at that point. Like you got a small, like you know how it is. Weight classes are a big deal in fighting.
Yeah. I saw a very funny sign, kind of side note, in the crowd that said Jake Paul is a LARP, which is like a live action role play, which is very accurate. Like he is doing like a live action role play of a fighter.
That's back to the part where it's like, is he scripting this?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way that Tyson. He looked good Tyson won the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was really that convincing.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's a lot of talks of going back to like the Tyron Woodley fight.
No.
Like Tyron Woodley, like his brother has openly said that he was like paid to take a dive. I hope that's not the case.
I really hope, because if it is the case, then what does that tell you about boxing?
Yeah,
like I feel like boxing, just recently, I feel like it's really gone downhill. Like ever since the cross fighting.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, same with MMA. They seem to have a good grip on it, but there was a big, like, gambling bust that just happened in the UFC not too long ago, about a year and a half ago, because you can kind of, if you can make it to the second round and then, slip on the banana peel and get your back taken and get choked out, then if you just bet like a second round submission on yourself.
And it's not like the rounds were long for Tyson Paul either. Like they were only 2-minute rounds.
Yeah. Not a lot of time to. Looking back on it, the play was a decision bet because the 2-minute rounds, And
who knows? Jake was like, "Oh, I'm gonna knock him out." I'm like, "I'm gonna knock him out," and then he's like, "Oh, I feel so bad for him. I don't want to knock him out."
What if Jake Paul just bet like 20 mil somehow on himself to win by decision, and that was like a plus 400 odds? Like, for real, I'm not lying. I mean, it's only 2 minutes.
Isn't that big legal complications though? If these fights are really fixed, like you can seriously get in a like real legal trouble
I'm
with
sure
that.
they have some way around it, though. I'm sure they do.
I don't even know what it would be, honestly. I couldn't even think of like how you could get around that. 'Cause, like the state of Texas sanctioned this fight.
Yeah.
It was a real pro fight. Which
I don't know. If
this
you
is the
have,
thing
like,
that sucks.
30
It goes on his record. It goes on Tyson's record. He lost to Jake Paul. It's on his pro record.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that stinks for him, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the baddest man on the planet.
Yeah.
And this
He
is how
still
we're going to
is.
remember him?
I don't think you should remember that.
I don't think so, but a lot of people will, because this is the last time we're probably going to see him. And then Ariel's in the ring asking Tyson right after he lost, "Hey, who you got next?" What do you mean who you got next? He's 58 years old. He can barely fight.
Just let him chill.
Like, I mean, leave him alone,
The
dude.
Hangover 4.
Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, and then he's like, "Hey, like, what'd you think of Jake?" And then he went over to Jake. He's like, "Isn't that pretty cool to hear that?" Like, just stop.
Yeah. Ariel's behavior has been strange. Like, it's almost like he's in on the like WWE side of the whole thing. He's been kind of behaving strange, in my opinion.
Like, the questions he was asking in the ring post-fight, like, he could have ended that interview so much sooner.
Yeah, and then at the weigh-ins afterwards, he's like, "I've never seen a look in that man's eyes."
Yeah, he's like, "I was scared." Like, of course you're scared, because I would be too, because I'm not a fighter. I know this guy could kick my,
Yeah, but he was trying to sell the fight. I don't know. It was weird.
And he slapped him, and I know he stepped on his foot or whatever, but he barely even stepped on his foot. Let's be honest here.
They're just trying to sell it for sure. It was a weird thing all around.
It was
I think the smartest decision probably would be to get your 8 hours of sleep and go to bed at around 10.
I wish I did, because it was Stream East. Like, we were on Stream East, and it literally said on the top left corner, "Netflix is having issues."
That's funny.
Like, isn't that wild?
Yeah, like the piracy site telling you that there's a problem.
And it was better than Netflix.
Yeah,
like that's
crazy.
nuts. It wasn't even buffering at all.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And it wasn't just me. Like, I had family members texting me, going, "What's going on with the stream right now?
Yeah,
like, what's happening?"
Like you had any control over it.
Like, I was like, I don't know what's happening right now. I thought it was my Wi-Fi at first.
Yeah.
Because I was like, the screen's just black right now.
Yeah, like I said, watching the Love is Blind reunion, we had this problem too, and we were used to it.
And now they're supposed to get some NFL games soon, so hopefully they don't mess that up.
Oh gosh, I didn't hear that.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Broadway paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my